The heavy bell, announcing that the hour of 1 was nigh, boomed through the sleeping city. And even as he woke, Scrooge shivered at the thought of what might come. He well remembered Marley's warning of a visitation at that hour, but hoped that even yet it may have been a dream. "The hour itself," said Scrooge triumphantly, "and nothing else." The curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge, starting up into a half-recumbent attitude, found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it. It wore a tunic of the purest white, and round its waist was bound a lustrous belt. It held a branch of fresh green holly in its hand, and from the crown on its head there sprung a bright, clear jet of light.
"Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me?"
asked Scrooge.
"Indeed, I am."
The voice was soft and gentle.
"Who are you, and what are you?"
Scrooge demanded.
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
"Long past?"
inquired Scrooge, observant of its long hair.
No, your past.
Perhaps Scrooge could not have told anybody why, if anybody could have asked him, but he had a special desire to see the spirit in the cap which was held under one arm. He begged it to be covered.
What, would you so soon put out with worldly hands the light I give? Is it not enough that you are one of those whose passions made this cap, and forced me through whole trains of years to wear it low upon my brow? For your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge, rise now and walk with me.
And the spirit, taking him by the arm, led him toward the window.
"I am a mortal," Scrooge remonstrated. The night is cold, and I am liable to fall."
The spirit laid its hand on Scrooge's heart.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As these words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either side. The city had entirely vanished.
"Good heavens," said Scrooge. "I was bred in this place. I was a boy here."
And he was conscious of 1,000 odors in the air, each one connected with thoughts and hopes and joys long, long forgotten. They walked along the road, Scrooge recognizing every gate, post, and tree. And there in the distance stood the little market town he'd known so well. And then the sound of laughter fell upon his ears, and there appeared, as if from nowhere, a group of boys standing at the crossroads. Scrooge knew them all, these laughing, shouting boys who gave each other Merry Christmas as they departed for their several homes. Merry Christmas indeed. What was Merry Christmas to Scrooge? What good had it ever done him?
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Scrooge said he knew it, and a tear fell down his cheek. The scene around them changed. They stood in a long, bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines of plain deal forms and desks. At one of these, a lonely boy was reading, and Scrooge wept to see his poor, forgotten self as he had used to be.
"I wish,"
Scrooge muttered, having dried his eyes,
"but it's too late now."
What's the matter?
"Nothing," said Scrooge. "Nothing. I saw a poor young boy singing a Christmas carol in the streets last night. I should like to have given him something. That's all."
The ghost looked thoughtfully at Scrooge and smiled.
Let us see another Christmas, then.
The scene faded, and in its place the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy passengers passed and repassed, where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way, and all the strife and tumult of a real city were. It was plain enough from all the dressing of the shops that here too it was Christmas time again, but evening now. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it.
Know it? I was apprenticed here.
They went in, and there, sitting behind a high desk, was an old gentleman in a Welsh wig.
"'Pon my soul," said Scrooge. "It's Fezziwig, old Fezziwig, alive again."
Old Fezziwig was laughing all over himself as he called out in a comfortable, jovial voice,
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, Dick. Come on, lads, where are you this merry Christmas Eve? We're ready for the party. Oh, bless my soul, the ladies will be here at any moment.
Then, with his fellow apprentice, Scrooge's former self, now grown into a young man, entered the room. He was tall and slim, and his face as yet had none of the harsh and rigid lines of later life. It was by the roaring fire that old Fezziwig raised his glass on high and made a toast to Christmas time, to its happiness, its charity, to its mercy.
May it be with us throughout the coming year as well,
he called, and they all drank to that.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
The warehouse now was snug and dry. The floor was swept and watered, the lamps trimmed. It was as bright a ballroom as you'd wish to see upon a winter's night, and its warmth spread out into the cold air.
What happened to Smithers, eh?
Soon the laughing and chattering of three had grown. There were ladies' voices now, shy at first, but growing in confidence and volume as the hot punch warmed their spirits. Then, above the sound of that gay gathering, the notes of a fiddle urging everyone to dance, everyone, whoever they were, wherever they were. There was Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast, substantial smile. The three Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable, and breaking the hearts of those young followers who danced in attendance. There were all the young men and women employed in the business, the housemaid and the cook and the milkman, the boy from over the way, the girl from next door but one. They were all there, some shy, some bold, some graceful, some awkward, dancing, laughing, drinking and eating, and having the very time of their lives. But perhaps the happiest man of that gathering was old Fezziwig himself, who stood surrounded by the cakes and roasts and pies. To see others enjoying themselves was all he asked. Scrooge stood transfixed to see these memories of times gone by, and dear old Fezziwig, he thought. How kind he was, how kind to one and all. But the ghost must have been reading his thoughts.
He has spent but 3 or 4 pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves your praise?
"It isn't that, Spirit," answered Scrooge. "He has a power that lies in words and looks. He gives happiness that is quite as great as if it cost a fortune. Oh, I should like to be able to have a word with my clerk just now."
But as Scrooge spoke those words, the happy scene around them blurred, and they saw the hazy outline of a figure. Slowly it became clear that it was himself once more, older now, a man in the prime of life, but the first signs of care and avarice were in the face. To one side sat a fair young girl, whose tearful eyes sparkled in the light that shone from the ghost of Christmas past. "It matters little to you," she said softly, "but another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I have tried to do, then I have no just cause to grieve." "What idol has displaced you?" he rejoined. "A golden one," she answered gently. "I've seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion, gain, engrosses you." "Have I ever sought release?" he asked. In words, no, never. In what, then? In a changed nature, an altered spirit, in another atmosphere of life, in anything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. You may have pain in what I say. The memory of what is past half makes me hope you will, but in a brief, brief time, you will dismiss the recollection gladly.
Spirit, said Scrooge in a broken voice, remove me from this place.
These things are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me, leave me, take me back. I cannot bear it.
But the ghost of Christmas past just smiled at Scrooge, who noticed that its light was burning bright and high, and dimly connecting that with its influence over him, he seized the cap and by a sudden action pressed it down upon its head. The bright light faded, and Scrooge was conscious of being overcome by an irresistible drowsiness, and further, of being in his own bedroom. He had barely time to reel into bed before he sank into a heavy sleep.